ちいた。やっぱりここだったわね。
小鳥、みんなも。
さっきみんなで話し合って、第2回ダーリンと順番にデートしよう大会の開催が決定したんです。おー、ということは、また指導とデートができるのだな。
ちょっと待て。いくらなんでも間隔が短すぎないか？来月とかでも。
却下、善は急げです。今日からデートしましょう。また遊びましょう。指導さん、遊びましょう。
とにかく、今日はなーし!
If there was one phenomenon I found interesting that was very noticeable back in the day, it was how differently the same video game would be ported over to various consoles and platforms. This was back when owning a certain video game console was like picking a side in a war and being so ride or die for that particular company. Brand loyalty mattered so much, you could lose your own friends just for siding with Nintendo against Sega and vice versa. Now, you might call me a fossil for reminiscing about how much better the good old days of gaming were, but I also understand that so many stupid decisions and wasted potential was brought about back then. FYI, I grew up in the era of gaming where a specific game being treated the same way across all platforms was already normalized, and the world got along just fine and dandy. Well, it was fun while it lasted, and now we're heading into dark times, gentlemen. Wait, sorry, we're not getting into that today. We're here to discuss a fun and entertaining history lesson about the games being ported over to the fun little boxes. Yay! The year is 1987. The video game industry has been successfully revived after the worst fall of the decade. Nintendo, alongside a relatively modest Sega, have established themselves as the new names of quality home console gaming. Recognizable franchises like Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Phantasy Star, and Afterburner have made their stronghold mark among fans around the world. Sure, there were absolute filth bombs created during the few years that followed, but the industry itself had regained the respect and reputation it so rightfully deserved. But then, the balance of peace was disrupted when Sega released its cutting-edge Mega Drive, the Genesis, with its staggering 16-bit graphics that could display games at twice the resolution. They had the guts and confidence to dethrone Nintendo at their own game, and they were really starting to be seen as a competitive threat to them. The heat only ramped up when Nintendo released the SNES, and the console war had reached its peak season. Around this time, the porting of not just iconic arcade games, but also third-party titles based off TV shows, movies, and even junk food had become even more of a serious business than it was in the 80s. And the two corporate giants wasted no time in capitalizing off the hype. And with that, the world was bombarded with countless ports of the same games and suffered a massive surge of deaths of wallets. What a time to be alive. Some games were ported to have the same name but had noticeable differences across platforms, while other franchises opted to release different titles across them with unique stories, characters, and gameplay. Platform-exclusive games arguably entered a golden age during this era, further compelling new and upcoming gamers to pick a side. Though this period in video games wasn't perfect, and this video couldn't cover all the nonsensical drama that unfolded, it effectively defined the generation of console war veterans who still, in some ways, exhibit their loyalty to a certain game company today. Of course, some of them are starting to lose their fans' respect, but ultimately, the industry evolved for the better, and the community couldn't be stronger. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Mwah.